Hi there, welcome to the Telly Show and Happy New Year. Now the best thing about the start of the new year, loads of great telly. And let's face it, all our wallets could probably do with some time spent indoors. In this week's Telly Show, I'll have some quality TV picks for you, as well as an interview with Father Ted co-creator Arthur Mathews.
Father Ted could get a bit frantic and loud and big and crazy, but which was part of the appeal, obviously. But I liked the Father Stone one because it's very simple and very little happens in it. It's only one twist in it.
Yeah.
Where he plays crazy golf and gets struck by lightning.
Yeah.
That's the only twist.
More from Arthur later, but as I said, there's a lot kicking off in the box in the next week, including new seasons of Dancing with the Stars, Operation Transformation and First Dates Ireland. So there was a lot to choose from, but my first TV pick for you has to be the 4th season of Catastrophe, which kicks off on Tuesday on Channel 4. The show is written by and stars Sharon Horgan and Rob Delaney and follows the hilarious and very relatable ins and outs of marriage and parenthood. It's been a year and a half since we last caught up with this couple, and Horgan has confirmed that this season will be its last, so make the most of it. My second TV pick for you is Resistance on RTE1 on Sunday. It's the follow-up to Rebellion, which aired in 2016 and was about the events of the Easter Rising. This time around, the action moves to the Irish War of Independence, with Brian Gleeson reprising his role and a lot more Irish talent joining the cast. Resistance is expected to be much more of a thriller than the first season and follows a hitman given a mission by Michael Collins and a British codebreaker contemplating committing treason.
Mr. Collins, you are welcome.
All the cards are just about in place. It's going to be fun playing this hand.
Detective Inspector, time to say your prayers.
It is not a war. We don't dignify cowardly terrorist attacks with the title of war.
Speaking about Britain, my third and final TV pick of the week is a show about everyone's favourite subject, Brexit. Yeah, I know, but this actually looks like it could be pretty good. Benedict Cumberbatch stars in what is a drama that gives a behind-the-scenes look at the 2016 Brexit referendum. Cumberbatch plays Dominic Cummings, the leading strategist and campaign director of Vote Leave, while Rory Kinnear is Craig Oliver, who was in charge of the communication strategy for the Remain vote.
We're about to ask the biggest question in a generation. In or out? And we need a leader.
The big interview on this week's Telly Show is Arthur Mathews, the man who is one half of the writing team that brought you Father Ted. Mathews is also responsible for creating the hilarious Toast of London with Matt Berry and has written for a number of iconic British comedy shows, including The Fast Show, Brass Eye, Harry Enfield and Chums, and many, many more. Mathews was in studio recently to chat about Father Ted and the much anticipated upcoming musical, as well as Toast, comedy writing, and well, lots more. Have a look. Arthur Mathews, thank you so much for coming into us here today.
Okay.
It's an honour to talk to you. I'm a big fan, as so many other people are, of all of your work. And I couldn't really work out the best...
All of mine, not all of it, sure.
A good chunk of it.
The best of it.
But yeah, so I didn't really know where to begin with it because you've had such an extensive career. So I thought, why not just go back to the start? I know that you met Graham Linehan initially in Hot Press.
I did.
So how did that go from co-workers to comedy partners?
I was in a band called the Joshua Trio with my very good friend Paul Woodfull.
Yeah.
We were in the art department. Graham started writing for Hot Press. So he's quite a bit younger. Well, he's 9 years younger than me. So at some stage, I must have got talking to him about comedy, and he was a music journalist. I was art director.
Yeah.
He went to London. Actually, we had a sketch group that we did a few sketches with that kind of grew out of the Joshua Trio band that I was in with Paul. And Graham was involved in that. Then he went off to London and he said, do you want to go to London for a few months and we'll write some comedy? So I went to London for 3 months and we started writing comedy, and our break really was with Smith and Jones, Mel Smith, Griffiths Jones. So they were really good to us. So that's how we got in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that take you then from writing for Channel 4 with Alexis Sale for Paris?
Well, the Smith and Jones had a company called Talkback. So we had an idea for a sitcom called Paris, and we did that with Talkback. Alexis Sale was in that.
Yeah.
And then we had this thing called Irish Lives, which was with 6 kind of mock documentary style shows about Irish people, and one of them was a priest called Father Ted Crilly, and we
Right.
sent that to Hat Trick Productions, and they said, we like this one, but why don't you, instead of a mock documentary thing, make it a sitcom so you can make loads of series of it. So that's what happened.
There's always been that rumour, which I know you both have cleared up, you and Graham, about RTE shutting down Father Ted. Where did that come from? Or was it just sort of people assumed that they had?
They assumed because it's an
Yeah.
Irish show that RTE would be involved.
Yeah. But they were never kind of considered
No,
for
we
it
didn't.
initially.
We were in England, so we went to Hat Trick, and Hat Trick made loads of comedy programs, and they just make more comedy programs in Britain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, no, we didn't approach RTE, so
Yeah.
the rumours are untrue. I've quashed those many times.
Yes. And when you were casting Father Ted, was there any pressure from Channel 4 to hire English actors, considering the audience?
No, not at all. No, and I knew Dermot. I worked a bit with Dermot. I knew Ardle, and I didn't personally know Frank Kelly, but I knew him from, when I was a teenager, I used to listen to a show called The Glen Abbey Show, a radio show, which is brilliant, which I loved. And then I used to see him on Hall's Victoria Weekly. So Frank was just very funny, naturally funny. You put the camera on him and he's just funny, and that's the most important thing.
Even if he just had the 4 words for a lot of
Yeah,
you could pull them
even
off.
if we gave him 2 words, he would have been funny.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
no words at all.
Yeah.
He's just one of those people.
And you always had Dermot Morgan in mind for Ted.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he would have been perfect. He was perfect age. He looked perfect.
Yeah.
Again, Dermot was very funny. And Ardle I knew a bit.
When you were working with Dermot Morgan, I guess, and working with that cast, I mean, at the time, even when you were doing that first season, people probably ask you this a lot, but did you kind of think, we're really onto something here, like we're really tapping into something, or were you confident in it?
When after the show went out, we had Ben Thompson, I think was his name, from the Independent in London, contacted us and said, I like this show, do you want to do an interview? So that was the first indication. Otherwise, you never know. I mean, the reviews are all over the place. I don't think it got brilliant reviews or anything. And I often wonder if RTE had done it and had got those reviews, would they have done a second series?
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, it did need its time to stretch its legs, I guess.
Yeah, but for whatever reason,
Yeah.
it seemed to gain momentum and it struck the right note. But you never know. I mean, you just never know.
And in terms of then of the writing of Father Ted and you and Graham working together, I mean, I guess was there so much of it now is memorised, I guess, by Father Ted fans, but I'd be curious, was there any episode that you two sat down to write and then it evolved into something else when the actual day of filming came along?
No, not that late.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer the ones that we wrote really quickly. I think they're the best ones.
Oh yeah, which ones were they?
I'm sure we wrote the Father Stone one, which I like, with Michael Redmond.
Yeah.
That was very simple. Unlike there was one called Night of the Living Dead, which that was a big rewrite, and it's not one of my favourites because it wasn't simple. It got more complicated.
Yeah.
Whereas Father Stone was really simple. Very little happens in it.
Yeah.
And Father Ted could get a bit frantic and loud and big and crazy, which was part of the appeal, obviously. But I like the Father Stone one because it's very simple and very little happens in it. It's only one twist in it. Yeah. Where he plays crazy golf and gets struck by lightning.
Yeah.
That's the only twist. And I like it because that episode, the whole story was based on friends of mine who...
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were a teacher training college. And one of the people that were there with used to come and they were a couple, and this guy used to come and stay with them every summer, and they couldn't get rid of him. And he used to cheat at golf. He's out there somewhere. Yeah. But I like it because, like maybe the best ideas, it's based on something real that's happened.
And what about, so now you and Graham have decided after 20 years to return to the character of Ted Crilly for this, the musical, which I believe Ted is going to be Pope, if the rumours are true.
So I believe.
Yeah, what can you tell us about that?
very little.
Oh yeah. Tell me something.
I know, you've lured me in here today to tell you all about it. But, well, what's happened? Well, Graham, Hattrick, the production company, were always on to us about doing music. Must do a musical. And Graham finally kind of had an idea about how to do it. So he got very enthusiastic about it and asked me to do it. So Neil Hannon's doing the music and Paul Woodfull's doing more music on it.
Would there be a hope of bringing back maybe other priests that have starred in the show, or will it be a brand new cast?
Well, it'd be a brand new cast for the main people.
Yeah.
I don't know about other characters. Maybe it should be completely pure and not have a half and half thing.
Yeah, I kind of think that could be the best idea, and then keep it separate completely as its own entity.
Plus, they're all, I mean, it's a long time ago now.
And then getting more up to date with your work, how did you and Matt Berry get involved together for Toast of London?
Matt, I saw Matt in a thing called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which is brilliant. We did a show called Snuffbox, which I script edited. Oh,
yes, yeah.
And that became a kind of a cult thing. And he'd be in different things, Matt. He's just brilliant. And then he was commissioned to do a show for Channel 4. He wanted to do one about an actor. And he asked me to write with him. So that's how that happened. But I'm a huge fan of Matt. I've just written a thing about Brexit.
Oh, yeah?
Which is a kind of called The Road to Brexit, which it's mostly old footage that it's revoiced. But we need a presenter to play a character as a presenter. So Matt did that, so I've just done that with him. And now he's in America till he spends quite a lot of time over in LA. And
obviously you've done a lot of collaborations over the years, but do you prefer writing with someone as feedback, or do you prefer to write on your own, or how does it work from a...
Well, when you're writing on your own, you might think of God, I've got a great idea. I'm going to write it into the script. There it goes. And if you're writing with someone else, you say, I've got a great idea. Here it is. And they say, not so sure about that. So you can see why it's easier. I do find it easier writing on my own.
And so 2019 then, what is on the agenda?
Well, the Father Ted musical, I suppose.
Yeah. Any date on that yet?
No, I can't give you... I'm useless on any information.
It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, you have to... I think what happens next is we'll finish the first draft, and then there'll be some kind of read-through.
Yeah.
I think at that stage, investors come in and money men.
Yeah.
Or money women. Or people with money. Anyone.
The money people.
Anyone with money.
Well, there's a ready and willing audience there for it anyway, so you don't have to worry about it.
Well, yeah, you don't know how... Because obviously, you know, with a different cast, it's very hard to know how big a factor that will be. But, I mean, the music that's been done for it is really, really good.
I look forward to hearing more about it when you can tell me about it.
Well, I know more myself.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a million for coming in to us today.
Okay.
Thank you to my guest, Arthur Mathews. Hope you enjoyed the show. And just to let you know, the full interviews from each episode of The Telly Show are now available as podcasts on iTunes, Spotify and Omni. So be sure to listen, subscribe, recommend to friends, all that crack. Catch you next week.